Okay, well, thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Tommy Maestas, and I work for Career Step. We are an online career training provider based in Lehi, Utah, where we have partnerships with academic institutions and other workforce development offices throughout the country. And we provide online career training programs focused in the allied healthcare arena, and we focus primarily on remote job opportunities. So the careers we're going to talk about tonight are medical coding and billing, as well as medical transcription and editing. They have a strong focus in remote job opportunities, which I think is the whole reason why we're working with SoloWorks here, is creating job opportunities in Grant and the surrounding areas, bringing jobs into the area that otherwise wouldn't be there. And so being able to work for a company that's based in Boston, Massachusetts, while you're living here in Grant, New Mexico, and possibly doing the transcription work for a company in Phoenix, Arizona, it's just this great virtual work environment that we're able to kind of help create, provide, and again goes hand in hand with the SoloWorks mission. So we're really excited to work with SoloWorks. And, I just want to talk to you guys tonight about the professions, give you a little bit of a background about Career Step, and answer any questions you may have about not only the coursework itself, but about the job, what it entails, what it takes to be successful, the attributes and characteristics of a typical transcriptionist or a typical coder and biller. So just want to be a resource for everybody involved here. Like I mentioned, we're partners with SoloWorks to deliver these online courses. So they're available to you Monday through Friday, they're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So you have access to the courses, throughout the entire year. But we've been in business since 1992. We're celebrating our 26th anniversary this year. Through the years, we've trained hundreds of thousands of students. Over 100,000 students have taken our programs. We've trained more medical transcriptionists than all other training providers combined. We have a strong background and history in transcription training, which led us to our coding program, as well as a few other programs that we offer at Career Step. But again, speaking exclusively about remote opportunities, the coding and billing and the transcription is what we'll talk about tonight. But through the partnership, you're going to receive all of the training you need to be successful. And then at the end of your training, we have a graduate services team that's going to help you with the job placement. And that's the exciting part, is being able to find that opportunity to work remotely in a brand new career. And that's what we're hoping to build, and that's what we're hoping to bring to the table for you guys. Like I mentioned, 100,000 plus students have taken our program. We've done this for a very long time. We have relationships with academic institutions, employers. We have other agencies, the certifying bodies that you'll take your national certifications through. We have these great relationships and networks through those folks that we're able to leverage those relationships to provide these successful programs for you. But I want to talk to you guys about how the program is structured. Before we talk about each particular profession, I want to make sure you guys understand how the coursework is going to be delivered. So the program itself is entirely online. It's self-paced, so it's going to be instructor-supported as opposed to instructor-led. So if you have any questions as you're going through the program, you can pick up the phone, dial a toll-free number, and talk to an instructor live on the phone. If you're having a hard time getting a hold of an instructor, maybe your wait time is longer than you need it to be, maybe you have other things you're working on, you can schedule an appointment to talk directly with that instructor. The appointments are in 20-minute increments, and they give you one-on-one time, again, to get all your questions answered. Kind of the nice thing about our SoloWorks relationship and the way that Shelly set things up as well, you guys will have a network amongst each other where you guys will meet and kind of collaborate and just make sure that all your questions are being answered in a timely fashion, make sure you guys are progressing through the program, working towards graduation and completion, because that's when you find your job. Is upon completing the program, you pass your final exam with Career Step, and then you'll sit through your national certification. That certification is going to be required to work in the industry. We'll help you determine which certification is right for you. There'll be a few different options for you, and we'll talk more about that as we get to that slide. But one of the things I really want to highlight, really want to make sure that everyone's aware of, the student support is obviously very key to you being successful in the program. As you progress through the program, the only score that matters to us is your final exam. We're going to want you to get an 85% or higher on that final exam in order to be considered a graduate of our program. Now that being said, you have up to 3 times to take that final exam and score the 85%. Each time that you don't get the score that you desire, whether it's a 75%, or maybe you get an 88% and you determine, hey, I want to be an honors graduate, I want to get a 90%. or I want to be a high honors graduate. I want to be greater than 94%. Our instructors will sit you down, they'll walk you through a study plan, and make sure you go back, spend some time in some key areas in the program to relearn some of the information and make sure you're prepared for that higher score on the final. You know, generally speaking, our high honors graduates get recruited first. The honors come next, and then, of course, a standard graduate after that. So the goal, hopefully, is to be a high honors graduate. Worst case scenario, just a graduate. Graduate will get you what you need to pass your national certification, become certified, and then our graduate services team kind of take over. And again, that's one of the most unique aspects of Career Step and our relationship that we have with most of our partners is we have a team dedicated to helping you find that dream job opportunity, if you will. Step one is going to be a resume review and an interview coaching. Right? We all have various things we've done throughout our career that may make sense for the coding position you're applying for, or it may make sense for the transcription position you're applying for. And so we'll highlight that, let you know kind of the best ways to speak about that, what HR professionals are looking for as you're going through that process. We'll do an interview coaching with you, right? So we'll have a mock interview with you. Make sure you're familiar and prepared for all the questions that are going to come at you. Let you know kind of maybe some things that you can say or be prepared to say, to put your best foot forward. Again, that's all part of the program, and that's available to you for up to a year after you complete our course. So you have access to the program for up to a year, right? So if you start the program, September 15th, you have until September 15, 2019 to complete that program. Once you complete that program, you have access to our graduate services for 12 months after that. So let's say you complete your coursework, you decide that medical transcription is a profession for you. You start working as a medical transcriptionist. First company you're working for, you're just not liking it, right? For whatever reason, you're not getting along with your boss, or maybe you don't like the type of reports you continually have to do. Perhaps you don't like the way the doctor dictates into his recording device. Maybe he speaks English as a second language, and it's really hard for you to understand, and you're not vibing with that first profession. You can utilize our graduate services to find other opportunities other than that first job, which is nice, knowing that you have that resource available to you, for that 12 months beyond completion. Another great thing about, aspect of our relationship that Career Step brings to the table that really no other training provider does, we have a department dedicated to corporate partnerships, right? So we're constantly reaching out to healthcare providers, MTSOs, these medical transcription service organizations, the individuals, companies that hire our graduates. We're reaching out to them on a continual basis to help develop continued education training for their current employees, to interact with them to find out what sort of training that future employees need. So we collaborate quite a bit within the industry to make sure our programs are relevant, to doing the job. Obviously passing the final, being certified is important, but more important than that, being able to be successful at the job, right? Because if you can't do the job, what's the point, right? And that's what our programs are really geared towards, is teaching you how to do the job. But before I move on and talk individually about coding and billing, and then about transcription and editing, do you guys have any questions about the structure of the program, or just Career Step in general? Can I answer anything for you guys as it relates to that stuff? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to our coding and billing slide then. One thing that I mentioned earlier, we have partnerships throughout the country that we work with various training providers to deliver our content to their personnel or their students. One of the continual trends that we see is the coding and billing profession is very popular. Right? It's an extremely popular profession. There's a great demand for coders and billers throughout the country, and the pay that a coder and biller gets is relatively high, considering it takes less than a year to complete the program. You don't need a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree to be a coder. You just need to be credentialed. So it's very popular because of that. But what does a coder and biller do every day? Like, what is your job responsibility? Well, it's your job to assign the appropriate codes to a patient's medical record. So if you go to the doctor, or maybe you got in a car accident, you broke your leg, you go to the ER, the doctor casts you up and puts you on your way. Well, there are a number of codes that belong to that procedure, and it's your job to assign the appropriate codes, and those codes are what are used to build the healthcare facility, or excuse me, the insurance companies and or the payers, right? So it's very important that those codes are accurate, and that's what your job is to put the accurate code onto the patient's medical record. Again, there's a shortage of coders currently, which is great for those entering into the industry. A big piece of that is in October of 2015, the industry transitioned from IC9 codes to IC10 codes. And it went from 14,000 codes in IC9 to 86,000 codes in IC10. So there is just quite a bit more into doing the codes today than there used to be. And because of that, a lot of the industry kind of shifted. A lot of the old coders either left the industry or retired early or just simply chose not to learn the new skill set. It just opened up great opportunity for new coders entering the industry. Especially if you think about if you've never done IC9 coding, you don't know what it should have been, what it used to be, you're not missing out on anything, right? It's all brand new to you anyway. So it's kind of neat. It's good timing, to enter into this industry. And like I mentioned, the pay is awesome. For a program that takes less than 12 months, self-paced, you're doing it from home, 640 hours in total, and the average starting salary is $45,000 for medical coding and billing professional. Again, you do have to be certified. Certification is included in the program and in the training. You'll be certified through one of two agencies. The first agency is going to be AHIMA. They're the American Health Information Management Association. The other one is AAPC. They're at the American Academy of Professional Coders. Those are the two certified agencies that you have to have certification for one of those in order to get hired as a coder. Each company is different with what they look for. Some companies are looking for AAPC credentialed coders. Others are looking for AHIMA credentialed coders. Just know as part of your coursework, part of your program, you get a free voucher to take one of those. Career Step will provide that. And then from there, pass that certification, obviously, start looking for a job and start working. So one of the questions we always get with that is, which one should I take? If there's those two options, which one is right for me? And really the answer to that is it's to be determined. We'll kind of let you know, right? So our graduate services team, as it gets closer to finding that job opportunity, will kind of let you know the companies that are looking for CC, the AAPC credentialed individuals versus the AHIMA credentialed individuals. We'll walk you through that. We'll give you what our best suggestion would be. And then from there, pass that certification and start working. As far as the timing of the program, like I mentioned, it's 640 hours. It's self-paced. So we have some students get done in as little as 4 months. Others take the full 12 months. It really depends on your schedule, what you're doing in your everyday life, right? So again, you have 24-hour, 7-day-a-week access to the course. So if that's 4 hours a day, if that's 8 hours a day, if that's 2 hours a day, it's completely self-paced. Everything you need to pass and complete the program is included in the cost of the program. And obviously, it's everything that you need to work as well. So all of the code books that are necessary to work in the industry are included with the program. So you'll take those code books when you sit for your national certification. You'll take those code books right into the testing site with you, and you'll use those to perform your exam. Once you're done with that, you'll use those code books probably on your first couple days at the office when you're working as a coder. We'll teach you how to use 3 Coder software, which is kind of the industry standard online version of the code books, if you will. So you'll learn to code doing both skill sets. Again, you'll need the books to pass the certification exam, but really when you're doing your job, you're going to do it using the Encoder software. So we're going to teach you how to do that as well. You'll get a free membership to AHIMA. You'll get a student membership to AHIMA. AHIMA, again, it's the American Health Information Management Association, one of the credentialing agencies that will get you certified, but it's great to be a member to that because there's a number of resources available to you as both coders when you're working, as well as prospective coders when you're studying, on just changes in the industry. What's going on with various employers? What's going on with the different credentials and continuing education hours requirements with those? Those are all included in your program access. The other thing that's really cool about our program and the materials that you get, because these are remote opportunities, because you're learning from home and hopefully working from home, you need to have a computer to do so. So we include a laptop as part of the course materials. It's yours to have and keep. Use it to train, obviously, and hopefully use it to work when you complete the program as well. And that's with both our programs, either the coding and billing or the transcription. Either one, you're getting that laptop computer as part of your course materials. Like I've kind of alluded to and mentioned, that the job market's great. in this profession. There's a 13% increase through 2026. Again, from the U.S. Department of Labor Statistics, double-digit job growth in this arena. So if you think that this type of work is interesting, something that you'd be successful at, great profession to enter into. You guys have any coding questions about the coding program, the coding profession? Anything we've talked about so far? Yeah.
Let me ask you this: the tuition is $3,699. If there is a company out there that's willing to pay your tuition to be hired on, is that a possibility?
Yeah. So the way that it's worked so far with SoloWorks is every student that qualifies, the tuition's paid for, right?
Yeah. Homestake mining actually gave us a $35,000 social investment, and so that's where we're able to give out a certain number of scholarships. So, for example, these two right here are actually in the first cohort for the first round. So here, well, hopefully make it even better.
I should understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, so you're like, will an employer pay for the training?
Right.
Yes, that is a possibility, and it really comes down to the employer, right?
Right.
And specifically, that happens more times than not locally, right? So if there's a company that has a shortage of, maybe they have someone that's working, I don't know, maybe in the front office staff, and they want to train them to be a coder. They think they're a great professional, a good candidate, exactly. So they can certainly pay for that coursework, train them, get them certified, and then they start working as a coder.
They already have a job.
Absolutely.
I was wondering if there is a possibility of that happening.
Yeah, that is a possibility, and it really comes down to the employer.
Right, that comes.
Yep, absolutely. What else can I answer about the coding program?
So research kits, do they work like for online, or like say if you wanted to go work in a hospital, it will transfer over to that too, or anywhere?
Absolutely, absolutely. So with the coding profession, these are national certifications. So these are recognized throughout the country. There's not any state-specific requirements, and there's no difference between online versus on-site work, right? So the credential itself is the credential needed to work. You got that, you can work anywhere. So I want to show you guys a couple of quotes just from recent graduates that we've had. These are relatively new Career Step grads. This first lady, I was looking for something to prepare me for the coding certification exam that wouldn't break the bank. I love that Career Step instructors were available. Whatever questions I had along the way, I could ask them either through the forums or from the instructors themselves. My questions were always answered. I got a call from the first place I applied to right away. They were very impressed with my resume, which had been revamped by Career Step Graduate Services. And then we have Career Step has done everything for me and my family. It's allowed me to be a better mom to my kids while still feeling like I'm a contributing person financially to the family. I enjoy that my medical coding job allows me to take my kids to the bus stop, to be there when they get home from school, and to chaperone a field trip. I have a very flexible schedule, and that is great. And a couple of things with those quotes before I move on to the transcription program. One of the things that probably doesn't matter to you guys just yet, just because of the great scholarship money that was provided. These courses are really cost effective when you compare what it would cost at other organizations and other institutions to take these programs. We're highly respected and well known within AHEMA and AAPC. These credentialing agencies know who Career Step is. They give us feedback on our programs, on the practicum files that we include. We get a lot of interaction, a lot of feedback from our network, and that's all for $36.99 cost of the course. Those programs out there cost $18,000 for the exact same program, the exact same credential. So it is a great value that we're able to provide. So that's one thing that like I said, it doesn't matter as much to this group because not everyone pays out of pocket for it, but there's some pretty expensive training providers that are out there that our course for all intents and purposes is a better course for a fraction of the cost. So we'll go ahead and move on to our medical transcription and editing slide next. Does anybody know what a medical transcriptionist does? Anybody familiar with that profession? Okay, I'll tell you all about it. So as a medical transcriptionist, it's your job to produce the patient's physical file. So patient goes and sees the doctor, doctor performs whatever was necessary. That doctor then records the interaction into an audio device. So he captures everything that happened within that patient's interaction, and then you as the transcriptionist get that audio file. You download it. It's all done kind of, through this virtual work environment. It's all done online. You download that audio file, and then you either type verbatim what the doctor dictated, or you'll edit what the doctor dictated. And when I say you'll edit what the doctor dictated, what I mean by that is a lot of companies use speech recognition software to produce the initial report. So whenever that doctor describes what happened with that patient, a computer software system produces the first report. You then get that report, you listen to the dictation, and you make the corrections. Unfortunately, as great as technology has gotten, it's not nearly close enough to as accurate as it needs to be a working file for the patient's medical record. So you have to have a 98.5% accuracy rate for the transcription report. Right now, the speech recognition software is 90% at best. The reason for that, a lot of doctors speak very differently, right? If they speak English as a second language, they might misinterpret what they're saying. There's a lot of words that have the exact same sound and very different meaning, right? Both in the English language as well as the medical language. And then, of course, numbers. A 60 and a 16 sound very similar, and it's very important that that patient's record has the correct number in there. So, your job as the transcriptionist or editor is just to put together an accurate report, whether that meant you typed or you edited it. Really, when we think of medical transcriptionists, we think of them more as medical language specialists. As long as you understand what the doctor is saying, you'll be able to produce that report. So, what's really important to be a successful medical transcriptionist, you're able to understand the language. You have a strong grasp on medical terminology. So we teach you that as part of the program. Terminology is a strong focus. And then where you really, make progress in learning the profession and building yourself up as a transcriptionist is through a practicum. The practicum, you're going to do, 1,300 plus medical records you're going to do the transcription and editing work on. So you're going to get plenty of access to these reports, and you're going to be well-versed, well-trained. Where that comes into play is when it's time to find a job. We have hundreds of MTSOs that continually recruit our graduates. An MTSO is a medical transcription service organization. These groups contract with healthcare facilities for all of the transcription work. Now, in order to contract on a cost-effective basis with all these healthcare facilities throughout the country, they hire individuals to work remotely. So there is very little overhead for a medical transcription service organization because their staff is scattered throughout the country, and as long as you know how to do the job and do the job effectively, you're hireable. That's all they care about is can you do the work and can you do the work well. And because of that, and because you're doing this remotely, and because these MTSOs, all they care about is that the work is done when it needs to be done, you're able to have a very flexible schedule. So some transcriptionists work part-time where they set their own schedule and they say, listen, I'm working Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 6, and that's all the work they do. There's others that work full-time and they say, okay, I'm working Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. They're full-time employees, they work like that. There's others that say, I don't know when I'm going to work. All I know is I may be available to work this week. When I log into the company's intranet, I download that report, complete the report, turn it in, and I get paid for what I did. So you're basically paid on a production basis as a transcriptionist. So it's up to you how much you want to work. One of the cool things about this profession, the typical transcriptionist, again from the U.S. Department of Labor stats, $35,700 is what a medical transcriptionist makes a year. The typical transcriptionist does about 27 hours of work to get that earning potential, right? So if you can work more, you can earn more. If you work less, you earn less. But you tailor it to your needs, and you kind of, make it work for you however you need to make it work. There's been over 900 companies that have hired our graduates to be medical transcriptionists. When you complete the program and you go through our graduate services department, and again, we're doing the resume review, the interview coaching, we're highlighting where and when you should apply for positions. We're going to help you sit through your certification through AUDI. AUDI is the Association of Healthcare Documentation Integrity. From there, you're going to become a registered healthcare documentation specialist. Complete that and start looking for employment opportunities that fit what you're looking for. You'll have access to what we call Job Placement Direct. It's part of our training program. It's built into the program. It's a searchable database of all of the companies that hire our graduates. So you can go look and see who hires transcriptionists to be full-time, who hires part-time, who hires part-time where you set your own schedule, or who hires part-time where you don't have a schedule. There's a searchable database where you can go get all those answers, and then you tailor your job search to that, and you find the opportunity that works best for you. So that being said, we have students and graduates that this is their only profession is a medical transcriptionist. We have others that this is a secondary profession. They have a full-time job doing something else. They use this to supplement income. We have others that do this seasonally. They may do this once a quarter. A great example is we used to have a dean at the University of Louisiana Lafayette. She would do transcription 1 month out of the year to pay for her hurricane insurance. And she wouldn't do it ever again until that next year came about. Did it to pay for her hurricane insurance. So just a ton of flexibility within this profession. We have students that complete the program, they do it 60 hours a week, right? Because, they're busybodies. They don't like sitting around doing anything. They have nothing else that they'd rather spend their time doing. So they do that 60 hours, and you're rewarded for that 60 hours of work because you're paid on a production basis. Just like the coding and billing program, you get a laptop as part of this tuition as well. If you were paying for this out of pocket, it is a little bit less expensive. It's $31.99 is what this one costs versus the coding and billing program. But again, everything you need to take the program and be successful is included. One of the cool pieces of equipment you get with this program too is a foot pedal that plugs into your UBS port on your laptop. And the foot pedal keeps your hands free so you can type and obviously edit and produce a report, but you can control the doctor's dictation with your foot. So you can speed up, slow down, stop, fast forward, rewind, all with your feet while keeping your hands free. If you get a doctor that speaks 100 miles per minute and you can't understand a word that he's saying, you can play him at a 60% pace. If you get a doctor that talks really slow and is really annoying, play him at 120% pace. It's just a way to be more effective, more productive. And so there's all these awesome tools and kind of tricks of the trade that we teach you and train you on. Career Step was founded by a medical transcriptionist way back in 1992, and that was something that she's really built from the ground up. And just because of that, the amount of relationships we have within this industry and the stuff that we train on is like nothing else. There's literally no other transcription training provider out there like us. So if you think that transcription is something that fits your personality, if it's a lifestyle you're looking for, there's no better training for it. This is a great opportunity for you. But before I move on and show a couple of quotes about this profession, any questions about transcription, Career Step, and our transcription training? Anything I can answer as regards to that? Okay, well, I'm just going to show you a couple quotes here. So this is, it says, with Career Step's online training, I could be flexible with the program and do it at my own speed when I had the time. It fit into our lives very smoothly. I like my medical transcription job because I have plenty of time throughout the day to play and read with my kids, and I'm right there if they need me at any time. And my transcription work is really interesting. And this is Natalie. She's a military spouse who works from home, mom of 3. And here's Danielle, and she's actually from New Mexico, so this is a cool one. I love Career Step. When I enrolled, I thought that this was going to be a hard, lonely road. I was wrong. When I enrolled, I joined a team and gained a family. I was never alone. If I needed help or had a question, all I had to do was email student support or post on the forum. Everybody was so friendly and knowledgeable. They always gave you the feeling that you were the only one there for. They were only there for one reason, that was to see you succeed. Now I love what I do, and I hope to do it for a very long time. That's Danielle from New Mexico. So just to kind of wrap it up, obviously Career Step is based in Lehigh, Utah. We have these national organizations we work with. We're very well respected within the healthcare communities. I grew up in Albuquerque. Went to school at the University of Utah. That's how I ended up there. And I've been with Career Step for 8 years, and I help kind of manage our partnerships throughout the West and kind of the Southwest region of the country. But one of the coolest things about the relationship we have with SoloWorks that's so unique to every other partnership that we have is they were created to literally bring jobs into grants and in this area that wouldn't be here without SoloWorks. And that's one of the things that's really cool about Career Step is we're able to help with that. That's one of the selling features when we look for new relationships throughout the country is we always talk about our ability to create jobs and bring new opportunities into various areas. And quite frankly, most of the areas we serve don't need that. Right? There's job opportunities locally. There's tons of healthcare facilities. There's jobs galore. Right? Where in areas like this, that isn't the case. And so to be able to kind of bring these opportunities to the community is just something really good, really rewarding, something that we're happy to do. We're really proud of the fact that Shelly and her group found us, and learned about us and said, hey, this fits right in line with what we're looking for. And it's great because you don't need a 2-year degree to do this. You don't need a 4-year degree to do this. You just need the certificate, the credential that it takes, and then you're on your way to a rewarding career that without Shelly and the group, it wouldn't have been here, right? So it's something we're really happy to be a part of. We're really excited about. I know Shelly's got some things in place to make sure that as you're progressing through the program, you're staying on top of your schoolwork. Any questions you have get answered either from Career Step or through meetings here locally. I'm always a resource. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions you have, about the professions. If you're having any trouble, throughout the course, and if I can be of assistance or if I can help, organize a webinar with an instructor, or if we need to have quarterly meetings where I come back into town and we kind of just do a group think tank and we get an instructor on the phone and we're just making sure we're progressing towards completion. More than happy and willing to do that. Here's my contact information right here. Obviously, Shelly has it as well. If you visit the website careerstep.com/SoloWorks, all of the details about these programs are also on there. There's some great videos, some FAQs, some program brochures. Those are all there as resources for you. But most of all, the best piece of advice I can give as you're going through these programs, utilize the resources at Career Step. The student support is there to support you. You're going to have an instructor at your availability. You're going to have a student advocate who's there. Whenever an instructor can't be available right away, you have a student advocate. You can pick up the phone, contact that same student advocate, ask your question, whether it be program related, profession related, whatever it may be. You can call them, you can email them, you can text them. You got the forums, you got the chat rooms. You have an Ask an Instructor dialogue box as the day's going and you're progressing through the day. There's an instructor assigned to that chat box all day long, so you can always get on there and ask the questions right then and there. Read through those chat boxes, but definitely utilize Career Step. The other thing I always like to encourage all students to do, as soon as you finish a module and you pass your module exam, pick up the phone, call an instructor, talk about what you just completed. Just let them know what you're thinking. Let them know how comfortable you feel within the program, and ask them, hey, what should I be aware of in this upcoming module? Is there anything I should know that I wouldn't know without asking you? And they'll give you some best practices, some things to be aware of, some things to think about. One of the most popular responses our instructors always give our students is, you're spending too much time trying to become an expert in that. You're trying to perfect something that doesn't need to be perfected. So if you want to continue along that same path, it's going to take you 1,800 hours to complete this program as opposed to 640. So don't be a perfectionist. Move on to the next one. It'll come. It'll be fine. So as you're going through the program, you'll have a study planner. The study planner, you log in. It'll tell you when to expect completion depending on how long you have available. Right? So if you say, I'm going to work 20 hours a week, it'll tell you when you can expect to be done with each module. If you say, hey, I have a goal, I want to be done with this by May 1st, it'll tell you how many hours per week you need to do to be done by May 1st. And so on that, there is right there on the screen, you can print it out. It'll tell you how long each module should take. If it's ever taking you more than the allotted time, pick up the phone, talk to the instructor, find out why. Right? It should not take you longer. If it's taking you longer, you're spending too much time on it, and you're, for all intents and purposes, not being as efficient as you should be because you're probably overthinking. So utilize the resources. They're there to help you succeed. But any other questions I can answer for you about the program, Career Step, our relationship with SoloWorks, anything you guys can think of? No? Well, so what, just curious from a show of hands, who thinks transcription is the profession that fits their personality?
I'm feeling like I might want to switch.
It's a maybe.
Yeah.
That's a maybe. And who thinks coding's more along your line? Yeah, you too. Yeah, well, either one. I mean, obviously, both professions are extremely in high demand. Job opportunity is going to be there for both of those. It's really going to come down to how you envision working, what you want out of your job and your career. One of the things to keep in mind with coding, especially, these are entry-level credentials. This gets your foot in the door. This gets you working. There's bigger and better credentials that are out there the longer you're in the industry. There's room for growth within that profession. The one downside to transcription, I love transcription to death. I love the flexibility. I love everything about it. But you can only be so good at transcription. There's nowhere, you can't be the world's greatest transcriptionist. There's no higher credential to get. You're paid on a production basis. At some point, you can only do what you can do. Where with the coding and billing, you can continue to progress. There's, a higher ceiling within that profession. So.
So you think more of you're a outside contractor?
With the transcription, yeah. So it really depends on the company that you work for. So we have MTSOs that hire our students as full-time employees, right? So you're an employee just like you would be if you're working anywhere. And then we have others that hire you as an independent contractor, and so you're free to work for as many MTSOs as you'd like because you're an independent contractor. And then since you're paid on a production basis, you get paid when you do the work. And then with that, there are some pros and some cons with being an independent contractor, right? Depending on who you ask, they might differ on what the pro or the con is. But one of those pros, in my opinion, is you don't get taxes taken out initially, right? So you're 1099, you pay your taxes at the end of the year. Because of that, because you're an independent contractor, you have your home office expense that you get a write-off. Any other expenses that it takes to run your business. You got a cell phone. You have to have a cell phone to work, right? So all of a sudden that becomes a business expense. The space in which your home in which you work becomes a business expense. There's a lot of flexibility that goes with that. So that's always nice. Again, the downside is you're not getting taxes taken out throughout the year, so they're going to be due. You're going to have to pay those, but there's some beneficial write-offs that come with that too.
So if you're considered a contractor and you're going to pay your own taxes, you can pay on your gross receipts taxes, which is due on the 25th of every month. And that's one way to take care of it, so you don't get taxed all every time you do this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So anybody else have anything? I just really want to thank Tommy for being here. He's been here all day. We've been shuffling him around a little bit, and it's been amazing. We're really, really lucky to have someone like Tommy in an organization like Career Step partnered with us and on board with really bringing opportunity to the area, and I'm really excited about it. And I really hope that you guys can see the potential, and if it's something you want to do, we have. First of all, come talk to me. We have a forum for scholarship considerations as far as to see if you want to be one of those people who goes out for one of the scholarships we have available to go through the program. And then also, we can kind of talk about other ways that SoloWorks as a program can also help support you as you go through this endeavor. So, and spread the word. If you think there's somebody in your life that this could be a good fit for, we've been filming this orientation. We'll have it available. We'll probably have it on the SoloWorks website. So anybody who wants to know more about it or wants to, basically get what you guys just got, that will be available. And again, thank you so much for coming. Again, thank you to Tommy. I'm very grateful and very excited about where this can go.
Thanks, Shelley.